I got a great question, and that was, what is the best position the Capitals have going into this upcoming season? Now, the answer is actually kind of obvious to me, but at the same time, it's not to the point that we have an amazing position at any one. I think the team overall is pretty lackluster, especially with talent. We're really lacking it. However, let's go over a quick overview of each position. So I think the easiest to do is goaltending. There's only a few guys to talk about. We don't really have any up and coming goaltenders. I see a little bit of hype talking about Shepherd. I don't know if I buy into that. I think he could possibly be an all right injury relief guy in the next couple of seasons. I do know goalies develop later than skaters. However, he is like 27 already, so I'm not buying into that hype too much. So we have Darcy and Charlie. Both of those guys I think are fine. If you look at Charlie's numbers, they're actually quite not good from last season. However, from watching the games, I do think the eye test showed him be better than the stats, and at the end of the day, he was a goalie for the Washington Capitals, and we're only paying him $1.1 million. So I do think we're gonna get fair value for that contract this upcoming season. And Kemper at 5 or 5.5, it could really be a terrible contract in the last couple seasons, but last season he was actually quite good. I would say he was possibly a top 10 goalie in the NHL, top 15 probably for most people. And I think we're going to get pretty good value for him as well. So overall, I would probably give the goaltending situation a B. I do think it is nothing to worry about, and it is fine. Let's talk about the offense. We have Ovi. He's fucking incredible. Aside from him, we really don't have shit. We really don't have anything going on. Dylan Strome was a good acquisition. He was a really good acquisition. However, I do think his ceiling is going to cap out at like a good second line center. I know he is playing top line minutes, but that doesn't mean he is a top line caliber player, right? It all comes down to Kuznetsov for me. If he can have a bounce back season. I do think he can. If you look at his stats, he is quite prone to going up and down and up and down. And if you are following the trajectory of his up and downs, he is kind of due to come back up for a good season. And if he can come back and have like 70, even like 60 points, I do think the offense will be okay. But again, we still just don't have enough. Oshie falling off, Backstrom falling off. That is 2 top 6, not even top 6, that is 2 first line caliber players we no longer have. And we didn't bring anyone in, and we don't have any young guys in to replace first line talent. It is an issue. Strome helps, for sure, and Pacioretty could help, but he's not going to be ready for the beginning of the season. And even when he is ready, who knows what he is going to be like. He is getting older and older. I believe he's 34, 33, maybe. So even if he is relatively healthy, I'm not sure what type of player he still is. And the value is good, $2 million for Pacioretty. The value is there, and even if he doesn't stay healthy, we can just shove him on LTIR, no problem. But looking at the forwards as a whole in terms of talent and how good they are, I do think this is the weakest position we have by far. The young guys just haven't shown capabilities to be game changers for the team. I do think Protas is going to come in and be a really good guy. I think he's going to be the star of the youngins coming in. I think he's going to do the best, but even he's not going to be a top liner, right? I think he can be a middle 6 guy, like I've kind of talked about, but we really don't have too much going on outside of Ovi and I guess Strome now. But if you're bringing up Dylan Strome as your second guy you bring up for your offense. Clearly, you're not doing good enough. Moving on to the defense, the best position we have. I think defense is actually quite strong for us. Now, it's not top of the league, but I do think it is the best position we have because I actually think at each of our pairs, we have adequate guys. On the top pair, Carlson, Faravari. That is baller. Like that is a really good top pair. Again, like some other players, he needs to stay healthy, but I do think he will. He's not prone to injuries. You know, it's not like Oshie where he just continuously gets injured time after time. And when he comes back, he's not looking good. Like when John Carlson did play last season, he was John Carlson. And I expect him to stay John Carlson for the next season. I think his game actually is quite well suited for aging. He doesn't really rely on speed too much. He's quite a nice passer. He has exceptional vision. His IQ is unbelievable. And he just has a chemistry with all of our guys. I think he's going to be fine. Faravari, I really hope he can take even another step. I think he is going to be one of the underrated defensemen of the next decade. I could see him ending up being as good as like a maybe Jacob Slavin type player. I think he really fits into that Carolina type defense that they got going on, but for us. And then on the second pair, we have Jensen and Sandin. That is going to be really interesting, and I could actually see us switching Faravari and Sandin because Jensen and Sandin both are not good defenders and they play defense. But again, relative to the offense and goalie situation, I think it's fine. And some people outside of Washington are probably laughing at Jensen being a top 4 guy. He has shown in the last couple seasons he can take on top 4 minutes quite efficiently, especially if we do have John Carlson at the number 1 D spot. When he went down with injury, you really saw the holes in Jensen's game get exposed. You don't want him playing top pair minutes, but as a top 4 defenseman, I do think he is going to be a good defenseman at that position. And similarly, on the third pair, TVR, exactly the same as Jensen. He really showed the capability to be a third pair defenseman. I'm quite looking forward to what he can bring. They are all on the right side, like 33, I think, each of them, which is disturbing and potentially catastrophic. However, I do think we have at least one more pretty good season out of all of them before we can worry about their production. And on the left side of the third pair, I suppose it's going to be Edmundson. It really shouldn't be. Please don't give Alexeyev the shot. We really need Alexeyev to blossom and to become something for this team if we expect us to do any damage moving forward. That would be huge to have Alexeyev, but either way, Alexeyev and Edmundson on that third pair, I think they're both fine. So overall, I would say defense is our strongest position. I really don't look at any defensive pair we have and have a lot of negative thoughts come into my head. When I'm looking at the offense, I'm like, oh shit, we really don't have too much going on that we can pencil in confidently. The defense, I am quite confident, will be strong the whole season long.